If you had $2 million, what would you do with it? Meet Bryan Johnson, a 46-year-old millionaire who paid $2 million on a medical program with the goal to keep him young forever. In this video, you will learn how he biohacked his way into having the body of an 18-year-old, as well as the 3 criteria he uses to stay younger and live longer. Get ready to be inspired and stay tuned until the very end for the best details.
Our objective is to get my entire body to have the biological characteristics of my 17-year-old.
Yep.
Bryan Johnson, 45, made his fortune in his 30s when he sold his payment processing company, Braintree Payment Solutions, to eBay for $800 million. He made waves online when he elaborated on his daily routine, which he said gave him the heart of a 37-year-old, the skin of a 28-year-old, and the lung capacity and fitness of an 18-year-old. What exactly did Bryan Johnson do? Simple. He hired a team of 30 doctors and regenerative health experts to oversee his regimen every single day. He pays them $2 million a year to reverse the aging process. Bryan said his goal is to eventually have all of his major organs, including the brain, liver, kidneys, skin, hair, teeth, penis, and rectum, to work like they did in his late teens. He calls it Project Blueprint.
Basically just asked my team, is it possible for us to do a vegan protocol and be within the targets of the optimal clinical outcome ranges? So the only exception is I take collagen peptides. I'm trying to find a vegan source for that. But yeah, it's a preference, not a necessity.
Bryan abides by a strict vegan diet, although he says that's not necessary, it's just his personal preference. He eats 1,977 calories a day. Not only that, he has a daily exercise regimen that lasts an hour, high-intensity exercise 3 times a week, and goes to bed at the same time every single evening. Let's dive into Bryan's routine. Here's what he does every day. First, he wakes up every morning at 4:30 a.m. and does a body check. His body check includes measuring his body, his temperature rate, and his heart rate. Then he wears a special hat to stop gray hairs and calms his nervous system using an earpiece device that sends an electrical current to the vagus nerve. He takes 60 pills early in the morning, and in total, 100+ supplements in a day, including garlic, lithium, turmeric, zinc, EPA, vitamin E, and vitamin D. He then has a green drink first thing in the morning he named Green Giant, which is cinnamon, amino acid, creatine, and chlorella powder. Afterward, he brushes and flosses his teeth, then rinses it with tea tree oil and antioxidant gel. Then he works out for 1 hour. At 6 a.m., he has his first meal, which is a super veggie meal. This consists of broccoli, cauliflower, maitake or shiitake mushrooms, black lentils, hemp seeds, garlic, ginger, extra virgin olive oil, and dark chocolate. At 8 a.m., he has his second meal, which are macadamia nuts, walnuts, flax seeds, pomegranate juice, pea protein, and berries. At 11 a.m., he has his last meal of the day. He doesn't need any more food until the next day. At 6 p.m., he wears special glasses to help him get sleepy. This blocks the blue light. And at 8:30 p.m., he goes to bed. While sleeping, he is hooked to a machine that counts the number of nighttime erections. He also monitors his progress. He takes daily measurements of his weight, body mass, index, body fat, blood glucose levels, and heart rate variations. He also constantly monitors his vital signs and undergoes monthly medical procedures to maintain his results, including ultrasounds, MRIs, colonoscopies, and blood tests. This is all in hopes of achieving the equivalent of an 18-year-old's physique.
People work so hard at making the absolute most cutting insult they can generate. I know they spend a lot of time doing these things, and I appreciate the effort. It's great. I'm not sure why, but it brings me genuine happiness.
Bryan is well aware of what people are saying, though. Some call what he's doing too extreme, or as if he's deranged, but he doesn't really care. He says the criticism he's received is expected and fine. Bryan says what he does may sound extreme, but he's trying to prove self-harm and decay are not inevitable. He's also mentioned that he's never been happier in his entire life. Let's dive into the youth aging secrets and discover how Bryan Johnson successfully reversed his age and the 3 criteria he follows to be healthier. What led Bryan to this path? He said it started with his love of reading biographies, particularly people in different areas who did things that were impossibly hard to see or do. He asked himself, in this early 21st century, what would be the thing we could do right now that when people talk in the 23rd or 24th century, they would look back at the early 21st century and say, ah, they figured out how to neutralize aging. So that's what he's been trying to do: slow down the speed in which he ages and reverse aging. He said if he were able to neutralize aging, he might change humanity in fundamental ways. Bryan says what's good now is there's a test that measures your speed of aging and looks at DNA methylation patterns. The idea is it's the biological age instead of the chronological age that matters. The concept of chronological age is when you leave your mother's womb, but then there's the biological age that can look at a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old and see an 80-year-old heart. What this does is look at the functions and organs of a 13-year-old and then take those patterns and apply that with all the organs of your body so that your body creates these patterns. They inquire about every organ in the body and look at what it needs to achieve its optimal state. They let the organs speak for themselves and look at each organ by testing different interventions and measuring to see if it had a positive or a negative effect. They track and report all the data and use tools like biofluids, MRI, ultrasound, fitness tests, and DNA methylation to measure the data and create protocols for Bryan to follow. Bryan said that through this, he has reduced his speed of aging by 31 years. He now ages at a pace slower than the average 10-year-old. His speed of aging in his last test was 0.68. Bryan says he knows people assume he's miserable, that he no longer experiences joy for food, or that he's so constrained as if locked in a dungeon. He said he feels the exact opposite. He's never experienced more joy for his food and never felt more present and fulfilled in his entire life.
If the algorithmic ability, if I can measure, the 35 trillion cells in my body, and an algorithm can better manage entropy than I can, of course I'm going to opt into it and free myself up to do other things.
Because he's not burdened to make 20 complicated decisions every day about whether or not to eat this treat or get the drink with sugar or curl up to some ice cream and Doritos. For Bryan, the hustle culture is a dying era. It doesn't take into consideration that we've stepped into a new place of being human, one where we can drastically change the speed in which we age and potentially even reverse the aging damage that has happened. He envisions a future where rest is seen as a professional sport. Individuals compete to slow down their aging process and improve their health so they can promote a culture of data-driven well-being. His ultimate goal is to help people realize that they have the power to be their best selves.
Anything that increases my speed of aging, I label as self-destructive. Anything that slows my speed of aging is rejuvenative. So I try to just make it very clean, left or right.
Now, let's look at the 3 criteria Bryan follows for how to stay young that we can apply without having to spend $2 million. 1. Prioritize sleep. That should be an anchor in your daily routine. He finds this is crucial to his overall health and well-being. This is the first step to improve your life. 3 key aspects of good sleep are consistency, avoiding alcohol, and creating a conducive sleep environment. 2. Avoid stress and destructive behaviors. Some of these include overeating, consuming unhealthy foods, excessive drinking, and smoking. Find a way to handle stress well. Stress often leads to self-destructive behaviors as a coping mechanism, such as overeating, and these behaviors can become addictive. 3. Start with the basics. This includes behaviors like paying attention to what you eat. How's your nutrition? Bryan emphasizes choosing healthy foods like vegetables and berries and avoiding processed and sugary foods. At the end of the day, there's no doubt that Johnson was able to positively biohack his body and find a way to age slower and keep his organs at optimal health. Although trying his routine could cost a lot of money, and money that most people don't have access to, you can make many changes along the way to ensure you live a life of wellness and longevity. While you may not agree with Bryan's approach, it is groundbreaking, and the discoveries made from it may inspire these 2 shifts. 1. Inspire others with the time, energy, and resources to conduct similar experiences, and 2. Change the way we view aging and what's possible. If you're interested in extending the quality of your life and improving your health, check out the free gift in the description below. Thank you for watching.